let's start off first thing first and refresh our minds. We all know that zakat is an obligation. It is a fara'id, it needs to be complied with, it needs to be practiced, it needs to be fulfilled. Like the other fara'id of Islam, zakat being the third fara'id of Islam, it is an obligation on those who possess the Nisaab. And the Nisaab, in a nutshell, is the amount of wealth that you possess at a particular point in time, which we will call your zakat calculation date. And if you possess that amount on that particular date, then all your wealth on that particular day is zakatable. What do we mean by that? What we are saying, and I'll illustrate it by way of an example, and we did use this example last week, but we will use it again. The Nisaab, let's assume that the Nisaab is 5,000 Rand. And last Ramadan, on the 10th of the Ramadan, which was your date that you chose to calculate your zakat, and this Ramadan, on the 10th of Ramadan, if your amount that you had, if the Nisaab amount was 5,000 and you had under Nisaab last Ramadan, and you got the Nisaab amount today, then in the first case, you are not liable to pay zakat. Let's take the second example. You held the Nisaab last year, and this year, your Nisaab or your wealth is under the Nisaab amount, which is 3,000, you will not pay zakat. And in the third example, you will pay zakat because you've got the Nisaab and more, and you will then pay zakat on the total value of your wealth on hand today. And in the last example, you may have started off with 25,000 last year, but you've got 5,000 today. Because the 5,000 is equal to or more than the Nisaab, and that's the total value of your wealth today, you will pay zakat on the 5,000 Rand that you have on hand. So what is zakat? Zakat is the amount that you pay on the cumulative wealth that you have on a particular day in a year, if the cumulative wealth that you have is equal to and more than the Nisaab. The best illustration is point C on your screen. The cumulative wealth that you have today is 25,000 Rand. Because 25,000 Rand is more than or equal to the Nisaab, you will pay zakat on the full 25,000 Rand and not only on the 5,000 Rand as is indicated in point C, on point D on your screen. So again, if you remember this as a hint or as a clue or as a tip on how to pay zakat, then the tip is simple. How much, what is my total wealth value today? And when we say wealth, we're talking specifically of your zakatable wealth. So what is my total zakatable wealth today? And if the total zakatable wealth is more than or equal to the Nisaab, then you will pay zakat on the total amount of wealth you have at 2.5%, inshallah. So keep that in the back of your mind, inshallah, as we move on to the next one. So the next example that I want to illustrate is we started off with 5,000 on the 10th of Ramadan last year. Today we've got 20,000, you will pay zakat on 20,000. But you've started off with 5,000 last year. In the course of the year, you've earned an additional 20,000. And let's give the practical example. 2 months ago only, you've earned 20,000. How much do you have on hand today? You've got 25,000. Even though you've only earned the 20,000 2 months ago, because you've held the Nisaab for a year, the 5,000 is consistent throughout the year, you will pay zakat on the full 25,000 Rand. That's the cumulative wealth that you've got today that is equal to and more than the Nisaab. I hope that illustrates and explains to you how the valuation, or when do you qualify to pay zakat.